Dear student, myself T.Y.B.Tech, I again welcome to all of you for my online lecture series during this lockdown period. Dear student, I have already started the unit number 6 and now again I have one another online lecture for all of you on the same unit. So now for today's my online lecture, the topic of discussion is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, that is HTTP. Now let's see what is HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. The Hypertext Transfer Protocol or HTTP is an application level protocol for distributed collaborative hypermedia information system. This is the foundation for data communication for the World Wide Web, that is Internet, since 1990. HTTP is a generic and stateless protocol which can be used for other purposes as well using extension of its request method, error codes and the headers. So now basically the HTTP is an application level protocol for distributed collaborative and hypermedia communication systems or information systems. This is the basic foundation for data communication for World Wide Web, that is Internet, since from 1990. HTTP is a generic and stateless protocol which can be used for other purposes also as well using extension of its request methods, error codes and the headers. Basically, HTTP is a TCP/IP based communication protocol that is used to deliver the data in the form of HTML files, image files, query results, etc. on the World Wide Web. The default port is TCP/80, that is H0, but other ports can be used as well. It provides standardized way for computers to communicate with each other. HTTP specification specifies how the client request and data will be constructed and sent to the server and how the server particularly respond to the request. That is, HTTP is a TCP/IP based data communication protocol and port for the TCP/IP segment or header format that is used by HTTP is TCP/80, that is TCP/80. It provides the standardized ways to communicate with each other for the different computers on the World Wide Web, or we can say that on the Internet. It specify how the particular client request the data will be constructed and sent over to the server and how the server particularly respond to that request. This is about the HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now let's see what is the basic features provided by HTTP to the clients. There are three basic features that make HTTP is a simple but powerful protocol. So the first basic feature is HTTP is a connectionless. As its name indicate connection, that means it does not require to establish the connection between the computers. So basically we already stated as, or we already know, we already learn, or we all of you already known that TCP/IP is a data communication protocol based on the TCP/IP reference model. So once it is a TCP/IP reference model protocol, so that means it is already a connectionless protocol. So that HTTP client, that is browser, initiate an HTTP request, and after the request is made, the client waits for the response. The server process the particular request and send the response back, after which the client disconnect the particular connections. So the client and server knows about the each others during the current request and response only. Further, requests are made on new connection, like client and server are new to each others. That means both the clients and servers are known to each others for the particular request. That means the clients send the particular request to the server and server respond to the particular request to the client. So in that time or in that period, both are known to each others. For example, if the clients wants to send another request, so it will be the particular new connections and both are, that is client and server, new for each others. That's why we can say that HTTP is a connectionless. Now the second basic feature is HTTP is a media independent. So it means that any type of data can be sent by the HTTP as long as both the client and server know how to handle the particular data contents. It is required for client as well as the server to specify the content type using appropriate MIME type. So HTTP is a media independent, means what? Any type of data can be handled or can be sent by the HTTP as long as both the client and server we know that to how to handle that particular data contents. So it is required for the client as well as for the server to specify the content type using appropriate MIME type. So this is the second feature. Move towards the last or third feature, that is HTTP is a stateless. So as mentioned above, HTTP is a connectionless and it is a direct result of HTTP being a stateless protocol. Means it does not create a particular state for each and every connections for long time. So for each and every request it will create a new connection. So it is a stateless for previous as well as for future connections also. The server and clients are aware of each other only during the current request. Afterwards, both of them forget about each other's. Due to this nature of protocol, neither the client nor the browser can retain the particular information between the different requests across the web page. That's why we can call it is a stateless. That means HTTP is a stateless protocol. This is the basic third feature provided by HTTP to the clients. So now important note is over there. That note is nothing but HTTP 1.0 uses the new connection for each request or response exchange, whereas HTTP 1.1 connections may be used for one or more request or response for exchange. That HTTP 1.0 and HTTP 1.1, that 1.0 and 1.1 are nothing but the version types of that particular hypertext transfer protocols. In both the version there are slight changes there. So in first version there should be only one, that means what? A new connection for each request and response is there, whereas in 1.1 connection may be used for one or more request and response for exchanging the information between them. So this is quite important note for all of us while learning the HTTP. Move towards the basic architecture of HTTP. So the following diagram or this figure shows a very basic architecture of web application, and that depicts where the HTTP sits. Now as shown in the figure, there should be a one web client is there. According to that web client, there should be web server, then website scripts and database is also there. Database is required, or database is over there for the collection of different data in a particular database. As per the client request, database is initialize the particular data to the web server, and that web server respond to the particular web client according to their or according to his particular request. So according to the request, web server and web client are communicate with each other and provide the data contents to the web client through HTTP protocol. So this is the very basic architecture we have about the HTTP. That is, the HTTP protocol is a request or response protocol based on the web client server architecture, where the web browsers, robots and search engines etc. acts like HTTP clients and the web server acts as a servers. Basically, HTTP is a TCP/IP based communication protocol, as we already stated it, that is used to deliver the particular data, HTML files, image files, query results etc., which are already available in the particular database of this web architecture on the World Wide Web. It provides a standardized ways for computers to communicate with each other through this hypertext transfer protocol, that is HTTP. Now see the client. The HTTP clients sends a request to the server in the form of request method, URI, that is URL, we can say that URL, and the protocol version followed by MIME like message containing the request modifiers, client information and the possible body contents over the TCP/IP connections. This is the client model used by the HTTP for sending the particular request, and while sending the request, that it will be followed by MIME like message containing the particular information about the client request modifiers and the possible body of the contents over the TCP/IP connections. Now move towards the server, which is responsible for giving the response to the particular client according to his request. Now let's see server. The HTTP server responds with the particular status line, including the message protocol version and a success or error codes, followed by a MIME like message containing server information, entity meta informations, and possible entity body contents. That is nothing but the server. So server is responsible to respond to particular with a status line, including the message protocol version and the success or error codes, followed by MIME like message containing server informations, entity meta information, and the possible entity body contents according to the client request. That is about the server. So now this is the end of my today's online lecture. So hope all of you understand it very well. Thank you very much.